Hey everyone, I'm Case Aiken. And before we get into the full spoiler heavy discussion on the Men of Steel podcast, which is coming soon, I wanted to take a moment to share some early surface level thoughts about Superman 2025. I know some of you might still be on the fence about seeing it, and I wanted to give you a spoiler free sense of where I landed after my first two viewings. Yeah, I've seen it twice already, so that should give you a sense. Let's get this out of the way up top. I really like this movie. I give it a solid A-. Not perfect, but strong, confident, and refreshingly earnest. In a genre so often overwhelmed by spectacle or cynicism, Superman 2025 stands out for just being good Superman, and that alone is worth celebrating. One of the things I appreciated right away is that this is not an origin story. It doesn't spend its first act stuck in Smallville or Krypton. It starts with Superman already established and known and lets the story grow from there. This feels important because where most comic book movies struggle to break out of the origin trap, Superman 2025 understands that the most interesting stories often live in what people call the perpetual second act, the space where comics thrive month to month. In this movie, Superman already exists. His world is already populated, and the film doesn't waste time re-explaining what everyone already knows. Some people aren't going to appreciate the lack of setup. It's a big reason this isn't going to be the definitive Superman movie. I would even argue that the choice to name this just Superman, as opposed to having a subtitle, hurts the movie in the short run. It feels like a really good sequel, and kind of needs to be viewed as such. That's not to say the film isn't accessible. It is, but it doesn't hold your hand. And that's overall a good thing. The cast across the board is solid. David Corenswet is a strong Superman. He's not trying to do a Christopher Reeve impression, and he's not so stoic that he becomes unapproachable. His take lands in a space that feels both classic and fresh. Rachel Brosnahan is a fantastic Lois Lane, sharp, commanding, and layered. Her chemistry with Corenswet works, and she brings a grounded energy that makes every scene count. Jimmy Olsen, and I can't believe I'm saying this, is kind of a sex symbol here, and it's a revelation. I love it, and I kind of want more of it. And then you've got the wild cards. Nathan Fillion steals scenes as Guy Gardner. He's very funny, very punchable, and exactly what he should be. Metamorpho gets some cool creative power moments. Mr. Terrific may have the best needle drop in the movie. He's just so stylish, and it works. Oh, and speaking of needle drops, no, this isn't Guardians of the Galaxy. There are only a few, but the ones that hit really hit. Now, this is my spoiler-free reaction, so I won't say much about the plot except this. There's nothing in the movie that's going to shock you. If you've watched the trailers or paid attention to leaks, the broad strokes will feel familiar. This isn't a twisty movie, it's a well-crafted movie, and in that sense, it works beautifully. Rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, the filmmakers focused on assembly, on making a well-structured, tightly executed Superman story. Every scene moves. Every beat plays. The pieces fit, and the world feels alive. The movie doesn't need to surprise you. It just needs to work, and it does. If there is one quality I keep coming back to, it's this. The world of Superman 2025 feels lived in. This isn't a blank slate. It's not an origin sandbox. It's a working universe. And it reminds me in the best ways of the DC animated universe. Not just in tone, but in density. The film feels like a Superman-centric episode of Justice League Unlimited. There's a larger world. There are other heroes. Superman isn't the only game in town. And that's great. We don't need every superhero movie to be about saving the entire world or carrying the entire franchise on one character's shoulders. It's okay to have a Superman who's part of something larger, who's one piece of a shared universe. And in this case, that piece fits well. I'm calling this an A- Superman movie. Not the definitive Superman movie, at least not yet, but it's a very good one. It's confident, it's crafted, and it gets more right than it gets wrong. And for a character who has often struggled on the big screen to find footing in the modern age, Superman 2025 might be the strongest foundation we've had in years. More thoughts are coming soon on the Men of Steel podcast, which will be up next Friday and wherein we will discuss spoilers. But if you're waiting to see the film and needed a little nudge, consider this it. It's worth your time, it's worth Superman's legacy, and it left me smiling.